Here we are at Archer Pilates Training Academy. We're going to demonstrate and go through with you right now the fundamentals and basics of Pilates, the nuts and bolts, what you need to start with, your foundation. Okay, so really crucial information that we're going to go over with you today. So please follow it step by step and try to practice as much as you can by watching this video. Okay, so we're going to start sitting up nice and tall as you possibly can. Imagine that the string is pulling your head up towards the ceiling. All right, Pilates breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So we try to use that ha breath because it really helps to connect through the core. All right, so from here we're going to nod the head, lengthening through the back of the neck. So you really feel that length and stretch. You're drawing the shoulders down away from your ears. We're going to scoop the core really deeply in and create a C curve with the spine as if you're rounding over a nice big beach ball. So the belly is scooped in, the belly button to the spine. You're really focusing on breathing into the backs and sides of the rib cage. So in Pilates, you breathe posteriorly and laterally into the rib cage, which is into the back, because you're trying to keep your core and abdominals pulled in tightly all the time. So if you can bring your hands back and do that, that's fine. If not, just imagine your hands are there and you're breathing into your hands. So take another nice deep breath there into the backs and sides of your rib cage, and then slowly articulate up as if you're stacking your back up against a wall, sitting up nice and tall, and take another deep breath here. We're going to lay down on our backs now, and we're going to cover some more of those principles laying on your back. So we're going to go in a hook lying position. This is what we call hook lying. You're going to try to make sure your chest is nice and open, the shoulder blades are anchored into the floor. You can bring your hands to your rib cage again here so you can feel what happens when you breathe. If you're not really consciously lacing the ribs together, when you inhale, the ribs just kind of flare open. So you want to try to control that and lace them down. And if you think about what is underneath you laying on the mat, it's your T-point, which is right where your thoracic 7 and 8 vertebrae are. And for ladies, that's where your bra line is. So you're going to keep that point definitely anchored into the floor. So thinking about that and keeping the chest open, bring the arms down by your sides. So not only do you have to think about that length in the back of the neck, you're breathing in through the nose and out through, like a ha breath, which is super important to engage those abdominal muscles. You want to also think about a little tiny tunnel underneath your back where your natural curve of your lumbar spine is. We try to preserve the curves here in Pilates. So again, now your tailbone is anchored into the floor. And that would mean that if you put your hands on your hip bones and your fingertips on your pubic bone, this should be flat like a table. So your pubic bone and hip bones are level with each other. So from here, we are going to do some movement with that. Anchor your feet into the floor as if you're pulling them towards your bottom, but you're not actually moving your feet. So they're planted like a tripod into the ground. Okay, so now you're still thinking about all those principles, as well as your Kegel muscle, your deep pelvic floor should also be contracted. From here, we're going to add a little bit of movement. We are going to go into some ab preps. So nod your head without lifting it off the ground, and exhale to lift the head and shoulders up off the mat, reaching your fingertips towards your heels. Stay here just for a moment so you can check and make sure that you have that tunnel still underneath your low back, and then slowly control it back down. We're going to do that 2 more times so you can really practice and work on your form. Inhale, nod your head. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up off the ground. Inhale, hold, and exhale, come back down again. 1 more time, keeping the tunnel under the low back. Inhale, nod. Exhale, lift and hold, and slowly bring it back down. So from those ab preps, now you've really worked on your form. You're going to try to maintain this form as we go into our set of hundreds. So you can, as you graduate and get a little stronger, you will be able to do your hundreds in a tabletop position, and then later on you'll even be able to extend your legs straight out. But as a beginner, we want you to keep your feet on the floor to practice your neutral spine. So let's go into the hundreds, inhaling to nod the head, exhaling to lift the head and shoulders off the ground. And you're going to start pumping your arms from the shoulder joint here. Nice firm pulses to warm up your body, and let's do it with my count here. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. 30. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2. 40 in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. 50 in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4. 60 in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. 70 in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. 80 in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. 90 in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, hold, and reach. Exhale, bring it on down. So another really important factor here with your basic principles is learning the position of your spine and your pelvis. And some people have a really mobile and flexible spine, and others really stiff and stuck. So we need to work on two different modes here. We need to learn how to gain more mobility and flexibility in the pelvis, which is when you tuck that pelvis under, imprinting the spine into the mat. So you're really just trying to use that core strength to pull the back down towards the ground without engaging your glutes. The heels of the feet should be directly in line with your sit bones whenever you're doing this work. So let's just practice a couple pelvic tilts here. You're going from a neutral position where you have that natural curve and tunnel under your back, and you're imprinting your spine into the mat, just using that core strength, trying to keep the legs relaxed, and then taking it back to neutral. So if you have a really stiff spine and really tight pelvis, this will help you a lot, just literally doing these pelvic tilts. But we can increase that range of motion, imprinting the spine into the floor, tucking the pelvis, engaging the glutes, and slowly lifting those hips up towards the ceiling, but only to the T-point, which is right where the bra line is, and then articulating back down again, one vertebra at a time, all the way back to your neutral position where your tailbone touches the ground. So now let's try to work on stability mode. If you're super hyper mobile and flexible, you might be too mobile. We want to work on your stability of the pelvis. So from here, you're going to keep your tailbone planted, keep the tunnel underneath your low back, and just lift the hips just 2 inches off the ground, and then place that tailbone back down again. So you're exhaling to lift, inhaling to lower. Let's just do 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One last time. Those back extensors are working really hard to stabilize your hips and your pelvis, and then you can just relax and breathe and go to your natural position.